Well, let's bring in the Mayor of Greater Manchester, should we, Andy Burnham, who joins us now. Hello to you, Mr Burnham. Thanks for joining us on the programme this morning. Let's start with that £20 uplift that's going to be taken away from people in the form of universal credit. Your thoughts on that?
It's just the wrong thing to do. You know, we just heard, haven't we, the impact it will have on people. And let's be honest, Kate, you know, there's a lot of recovery that people will have to make from the pandemic. People not in the position, I don't think, to take a hit like this right now. And in fact, I would say it should be just left, because many people, it's forgotten this, many people on universal credit are in work. And it's just because their wages are so low, or they're on 0 hours contracts, that their earnings won't give them enough to live on. This is where we've got to as a country. And I think we've got to get to a situation where everyone has a basic income that gives them enough money to live on without actually turning to the benefit system. But until we get to that point, absolutely, universal credit needs to be kept at this current uplifted rate, and then we build from there to create a fairer long-term solution.
I want to talk to you about social care as well, of course, and how that should be paid for. We're going to be hearing, hopefully, from the Prime Minister who promised 2 years ago. Hopefully we'll hear later on this week how he plans to pay for social care for the elderly. Labour have said we don't want to see an increase in national insurance, but not really coming up with another option.
Well, it's good, actually, to be fair, that the government are gripping this issue. Because as we know, Kate, it goes back a long way, and successive governments have failed to grip it. So let's put a tick in the box there. But if you wanted to think of the most unfair way of funding social care, then national insurance would be it, because it's paid by very low paid workers, younger people, and it isn't paid by the older generation, because it stops at retirement age. So really, you know, you couldn't think of a worse way of doing this. In my view, we should not be taxing work. We should be taxing wealth to pay for the reform of social care, because, you know, it's that generation. If I can say it, put it this way, Kate, it's my mum and dad's generation who are you know, coming to the point now where maybe they might need the care system at some point, but they didn't pay through their taxes through their working life for social care, because social care wasn't in the post-war settlements, if you like. So you can't ask younger workers today, you know, we would call them generation rent, wouldn't we? People who've got big student debt. You can't ask that generation to pay for the care of a generation who've not contributed through the tax system. That isn't right. I would say ask all older people through the assets they've got, the property assets, to make a contribution. The beneficiary should make a contribution, but then turn to other wealth taxes like capital gains tax to make up the difference. That, I think, is the basis for a fair funding solution.
Well, we're waiting for Keir Starmer to say that, but he's not said that at the moment, although, as you know, the TUC have suggested that as a way forward. I wonder if I could finish with this. A report last week by Labour in Communications urged Keir Starmer to slim down the shadow cabinet, apparently, and give a more prominent role to well-respected Labour leaders from around the country. We're looking at you. Would you answer the call if asked?
Well, I think the benefit I can bring is to speak more independently, because that's the great joy of a mayoral role, Kay. I don't have to, you know, follow the ins and outs of what's going on in Westminster. But if I'm honest, on this issue of social care, you know, I put forward a plan 10 years ago for a national care service, and I'm still arguing for that now. And I think maybe that will help the Labour Party as we build an argument for a reform of that kind. So I would say, you know, I'm better doing what I'm doing, and I'm bringing some independence, if you like, to the debate, and I think that's what's needed. And then the Labour front bench can use that. So I think there's an opportunity here, Kay, if I'm honest. I think the government is about to make a major misstep if it goes down the national insurance route to fund social care. There's a real clear consensus, actually, that would be a very unfair way of doing it. Labour's got an opportunity here to go bold on social care, a national care service funded in the way that I described, you know, with a modest contribution from those who will benefit, but wealth taxes to supplement it. That, I think, could carry the country. It's a big opportunity for Labour, and that's my independent advice to them this morning.
OK, very, very quickly, we're out of time. So is that a yes or a no if you were approached? You'd say no thanks?
I'm quite happy where I am, Kate. I'm quite happy where I am, and I think it's working well. So I'd rather stay doing what I'm doing.
Why wouldn't you be in God's own country? It's good to see you as always. Thank you, Mr. Burnham.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you.